everyone, it's Mari here for Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. We're celebrating the 12 days of holiday giving, and today I'm going to be creating a card using some beautiful products from Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be using this beautiful Snowflakes 3D embossing folder to create some texture for my card front today, and this is going to be paired with the beautiful Lovely Layers large snowflake dies. I've gone ahead and embossed my A2 size card front here, and I'm going to be using some Gina K inks to ink blend onto this snowflake embossed paper. I'm using my Crafter's Companion grip mat here on my table, and that mat is going to just hold my cardstock down while I do some ink blending with these beautiful inks from Gina K. So I'm starting off with my light lilac color. This is a trio of colors that go from light, medium, and dark in the lilac color palette. And I'm just going ahead here and blending on this lightest color first over the entire embossed piece here, and this is just going to create the lightest layer for me here, and then I'll go in with the darker layers or the darker inks to add a layer around the outside edges. So I really want to keep that central area the lightest, and now I'm going in with the medium around the edges and blending in here to create just that really nice darker edging. Once I've got that medium on, I'm going to go in with this really dramatic dark lilac color. I just love this so much. I think it might be my favorite colors from Gina. And I'm just going to really darken up the edges. And this is, like I said, just going to create that really beautiful dramatic border on this beautiful embossed card front here. So now that I've got that ink blending done, I'm going to go ahead and put away my mat. I did just wipe it off with a baby wipe. And now what I like to do when I'm finished with this mat is just cover it back up with its plastic packaging and roll it up. I just store it in my drawer. It stores really easily. And I just love that mat so much from Crafter's Companion. It just works really, really well. So once I've got that all tidied up now, I'm going to do some die cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and take each one of the dies from the snowflakes, the Lovely Layers large snowflake set, and I'm going to die cut those all from some Hammermill 80-pound white cardstock here. I'll run those through my Gemini 2 die cutting machine, and now I'm ready to layer these up. So I'm going to just randomly layer these. You can layer these in so many different ways. This is not necessarily the only way, the way that I'm doing this. And I am adding some foam adhesive between the layers just to make them a little more dimensional on my card front. So you can just see here I'm adding little bits of foam adhesive and a few glue dots here and there just to create that bumped up dimension on these snowflakes. And when you have these layered together, they're just so gorgeous and so pretty. They look very, very festive and just perfect for a holiday project. Now I've placed these into my splat box, and I am going to use a little bit of mica spray. This is a mica spray called Frozen Fog from Ranger, and I'm just spritzing that on quite lightly. I just want just a really pretty silvery sparkle to my snowflakes. Now I am going to use my heat tool to dry those up a little bit and just speed up that drying process with that mica spray. And once those are all dry, those will just be the most gorgeous embellishments for my card front here. So now that I've got those dry, I have an idea of how I want to place them on my card front, but I do want to embellish the centers of each one of these snowflakes just to add a little bit of bling. I am using some really beautiful pearl stickers from Honeybee Stamps. These are called the Metallic Mix. They are really, really gorgeous, and there's a variety of metallics on that sheet. There's everything from a bronzy color, a champagne, through to a really shiny gold, a matte silver, and then a really shiny silver. There's also matte gold on there as well. You just get a really gorgeous array of metallic embellishments. Now I've added those embellishments to the center of each of the snowflakes, not flowers, and I'm going to go ahead and add those snowflakes onto my card front with a little bit of foam adhesive again. And I just kind of want to create a little visual triangle with the snowflakes in the way that I have them placed there. And that's just going to leave me a spot down there nice in the bottom for a little sentiment for my card. I'm going to just go ahead and take some liquid adhesive and add that to the back of this card front, and then I'll take that and add it to a top folding A2 size white card base. Now when I get this wiggled onto here and in place, there is a little bit of excess white at the bottom. I probably just didn't do a perfect fold with my card base when I folded it. So that's really easy to fix. What I'll do is just take that over to my trimmer, and I'll just take my time just to make sure that that's lined up properly. And I'm just taking off that little bit of white at the bottom. And I think that I might need to go ahead and do this again just to get all of that white off the bottom there. And once I have that done, I have just the perfect amount of that purple showing all the way around the edge of my card. Now I am going to do some embossing for my sentiment here. I do have a piece of Gina K Black Onyx cardstock in my Mini Misty. I'm using my Tailored Expressions anti-static powder tool there, and I'm going to use a sentiment set from Honeybee Stamps called Mini Messages Holiday. And I've just taken my Honeybee Stamps clear embossing ink and stamped that out onto my black cardstock. And I'm using some Brutus Monroe Sterling embossing powder on that clear embossing ink there. Now I'm just taking my heat tool and melting that sterling embossing powder, and that's just going to create the most beautiful dimensional silver sentiment. And the sentiment, I think, for this one says peace for the holidays, or peace on earth, I believe is what it says. And I love that. I thought that was just really perfect for this really peaceful looking card. Now, once I had that all die cut out with the coordinating dies from Honeybee Stamps, I did decide that I thought it looked maybe a little bit dark. So I do want to go ahead and do another embossed sentiment in white just to kind of compare. So this time I'm using the same stamp and the same process, but I'm stamping it out this time on white cardstock. I'm using that same sterling embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. And you can just see here I'm using that Nouveau spoon just to spoon out that powder. I'll tap off the excess. Again, I'll just go ahead and heat that up and just melt that. And then I'll be taking that same die and using that to die cut out the sentiment. And now that I have that all die cut out, I'm just going to do a comparison of the two different sentiments on the card front. They both look nice, but I just felt like maybe the black was a little bit too bold, and I just thought maybe it might look nice if it was the white sentiment with the silver. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, but I do decide to go with the white sentiment for this particular project. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take some some foam strips and add those foam strips onto the back of that white sentiment, just to give this sentiment a little bit of dimension on my card front. So I'll just go ahead and make sure that I have an even amount of foam adhesive on that strip so that I don't have any sagging with that sentiment on my card front. So just get that little bit off and take that release paper off the backing. I do like to use my Honeybee reverse tweezers when I'm adding details like this onto my project. And so I'm just reaching for those, and I will use those to help me get this sentiment into that area in the bottom right of that card front. And I do take this off camera out of frame just because I do need to line it up. And I feel like it's better to see this than my head over the card in the video. Friends, make sure you check out the description box below the video in the Show More section for all of the information. Head on over to the SCT blog today for more details about the 12 days of holiday giving. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to create with Honeybee Stamps products, and I really enjoyed participating in the 12 days of holiday giving. Have an amazing holiday season, friends, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.